he's one of the persons that could help us in one of the main objectives, main goals of this conference, that is define the present landscape by the and guess what is going to be the future. But my first question for you, Mr. Yoshida, is to come back a little bit to the past. So I think it was like in 1986 when you first entered in Sony. And I want to start this talk with your remembers of how was the company then.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for inviting me, and this is a great honor. So I'd like to collect a little bit of, thank you for the introduction, but I'm not the president of Sony Computer Entertainment. That's Andrew House, and actually doing the worldwide studio for Sony Computer Entertainment. So my responsibility is to manage the game development for PlayStation first party. So, talking about when I joined Sony, 1986, right out of the college, I was looking for a company to join. It's very, used to be very customary for, new graduates to join a company in Japan and, hope to stay for long. And what I was looking for was, I was very much looking forward to live and work outside Japan. And Sony at that time was smaller than it is today, but still doing a lot of business outside Japan, Walkman or TV, videos. They're just launching 8mm video camera. And it was before they acquired the movie studios. So I joined Sony as an electronics company. But somehow I was thinking, being a very big game user, game player, I was thinking, in the future Sony will go into the video game because it's basically computers. And I was hoping, not knowing anything, that I'd like to join the project when they started. And actually it happened, so it's amazing luck that I have had. Yeah.
Okay, and do you think that one of the main reasons for the success of PlayStation and also your career was the exclusive titles? Because, titles like Gran Turismo, like Kiko, like Uncharted has defined mostly the main audience of PlayStation. So this has to be one of the big reasons of the success?
Yeah, from the consumer's standpoint, it has to be one of the major reasons because they don't buy hardware to just own hardware; they buy hardware to play games. But that said, the hardware and the platform is the enabler always of creating new experience. Like when we entered video game market with PlayStation, the first PlayStation. It was pretty much the first consumer-based console that can handle the real-time 3D graphics. And before, it was basically 2D-based. Nintendo or Sega played great games. However, the 3D use of 3D graphics was limited in the arcade. So when I had the luck to join Ken Taragi's project before Sony Computer Entertainment was incorporated early in 1993. At that time, what Ken told me when I interviewed him was, he pointed, because I was in the PC business at that time, he pointed me the Silicon Graphics workstation. At that time, it cost like $100,000 per unit. And he said that, this SGI workstation, that performance, I will bring it to the console that you can sell for $500. And he's crazy. So the use of 3D graphics actually opened up really many new ways of games to be played. And but it was really a challenge, for us to evangelize PlayStation because at that time, I was, we started in Japan, and I was responsible for third-party relations at that time. So Japanese publishers and developers at that time, and most of them said, well, very skeptical about the use of 3D graphics in games. They said that, well, it would be great for racing games and probably like space shooters, not much more. And then Sega announced the Virtua Fighter the same year, and everybody, the eyes open. Suzuki-san, Suzuki-san is here, and I was talking with Suzuki-san. How Sega, Suzuki-san's game opened eyes of many Japanese publishers, and as soon as they saw Virtua Fighter, suddenly they came back to us and can we hear more about PlayStation? So going back to your question, there are many games that kind of define PlayStation's early success, Ridge Racer or Tekken or Wipeout or Tomb Raider. These games are so important for consumers, but there are enablers that was the hardware and the whole platform.
Mm-hmm. So my next question has to be, because you were talking about the revolution that came with 3D graphics, but we have just around the corner probably the next big revolution for games that are VR. With Morpheus. So I know that you are a big fan of this new landscape, and I want to ask you why this is going to be so important and not just another way to play a game.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. That's the favorite topics to talk about these days. We announced Project Morpheus. It's still a prototype at GDC this year. We worked on that tech for the last 3 or so years. When I talk about VR or Project Morpheus, I'm saying it's like when PlayStation introduced the consumer level 3D graphics tech to games 20 years ago. Because, like Ken was saying, the VR has been in use in industrial, applications in the military or simulation or design, and those, cost like $100,000. But now we are talking about the advance of, smartphones and tablets. When you look at what constitutes the components of VR headset unit, it's pretty much similar to what smartphone is made of. So all the advancement and cost down on of these components really has made it possible for the first time to create very light and affordable consumer-based VR systems. We are so close. We talk with Oculus people. They are great guys. And we agree that we are close, but not quite yet. But it's just a matter of time that we can achieve the really good, everybody can enjoy kind of, consumer product using VR. So I can see, we introduced PlayStation. There are some questions about adoption of 3D graphics, for games or other applications. And there are still, people asking, skeptical. Some people, want to wear, big headset on your head. But the experience is so amazingly different that you want to, come back to this place that is not where you are. So the biggest thing that VR achieves is to what we call the sense of presence, the feeling, the belief that all your senses believe that you are in different place, and the different place is defined by the application. That could be in a very beautiful landscape or some fantastic place, or it could be on the moon or Mars. Whatever it is, there are things that people want to like Barcelona is amazing, beautiful city, and it takes a lot of money and time to come here, and it could be raining or it could be sunny, but you can create beautiful Barcelona that anyone can visit anytime. For example, so the application, we're gonna focus on games initially because Project Morpheus is made for to work with PS4, so you have to have PS4. So the game application is the perfect match initially, but as soon as you experience the VR and our developers are experimenting in many applications, we find that it doesn't necessarily need a lot of gameplay for people to enjoy VR. Like the demos we've been showing at GDC and E3, the demo called the D, the people call it the sharp demo. There are very, very little interactivity, but still people enjoy the experience. And another demo we showed at E3 is to feed the dinosaur. And I think it's a great experience for kids, for example. So the application can be broad, and everyone, from young to old, can enjoy. I do believe that, my grandma, she's no longer in this on this earth, but if she is alive, she would enjoy, using great VR, for certain things, because those people don't want to take a long trip anymore. And she used to say that she wanted to be others that she could do if she's alive. So, I believe that the VR can be a huge industry. And we're going to see the advancement of tech and the use of the tech for the coming 20 years, like 3D graphics have advanced for the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And what did you say to because in this place we are all here gamers, we all love video games, but that out there sometimes with these things that are too immersive are a bit of polemic that you are going to be cut off of the wall. So as you said, you think your grandma will enjoy that technology, so explain a bit why this VR is not dangerous for people.
Dangerous in terms of some people might be gone, not come back. Well, that could happen. Anything. There's a danger of addiction. Yeah. So our focus is first to achieve the amazing experience that anyone can enjoy first, and think about what kind of caution we should, what kind of test we should have with people, so that we need to tell people that you have to take a break half an hour. So that we don't know. So that as the tech becomes better, well, it's a funny and sad story, working on the early VR. I felt really sorry for our engineers a couple of years ago when they are working with the system with large lag. It takes maybe 15 seconds for you to get sick, right? but the tech advances to the point that less and less chance that happens. So what we are looking forward to, in terms of improving the prototype that we have for the future, when we consider it's marketable to consumers, I think the majority of people will have great experience. So our focus has been to achieve that first, and to look out for other potential issues.
Speaking about the future, one of the main sensations in games in the last E3 was No Man's Sky. If VR are the future for the experience, maybe procedural games that are constantly changing, constantly evolving, like DNA in video games, are the future for game mechanics. So explain me a bit why Sony is so interested in games like that are virtually every is possible.
Yeah, so the whether it's VR or not, we are big fans of indie, game development in the community and the games, kind of games that they bring to the market. It's so as watching the talk yesterday by from the studios in Spain, and I was amazed by the quality of games that they released and they are working on. Because everybody knows that the big console development is constantly getting even bigger. And it's good that these games are getting more audience in terms of number of sales per title. However, people's expectation for these titles has increased as well. So the market has totally polarized for those big companies spending bigger investment on a small number of AAAs. That makes it all those publishers, including ourselves, to kind of be careful what kind of subject or genre we make with the budget titles, $50 million more. There comes the smaller development, and especially those indie people who do not have to talk to their marketing department if they can make that game. They just go for what they feel for, and comes up with this amazing concept like No Man's Sky. And we've been big fans of funding smaller teams since the beginning of PS3 when we launched the PlayStation Network, and we are very lucky to be able to work with a team like that game company who made Journey. It's an amazing experience. It's just 2 hours experience, but the when I played the game Journey, I was thinking about that grandma I talked about, when it is about person getting old and die. So and I had tears in my eyes. That huge emotional reaction that a game can create. That was made by indie team. And they defy conventions, and they come up with this idea that they want to realize. And because they are small teams, they can make sure that vision can be achieved, and we are there to help. So we are big fans of these creative people, and we whether it's first party or third party in these teams, we like to help in what we can do for those people who have the big ideas to realize their vision.
One of these people that has big ideas is Jonathan Blow. You have him for the witness, and I was interviewed him like a month ago, and he told me that he thinks that the next big step for the industry is to get an indie creator to direct a AAA game. He said to me, I don't want to be that person, but I think that a company like Sony that is pushing so hard for indie games is going to try that soon. Something like Spielberg or Martin Scorsese directing a big budget movie.
Well, I could tell, John could be too smart, and the other people might not understand what he's talking about. It's a joke, sorry. But well, indie is a status, like your marital status, right? You're single or married or available or complicated, right? So, many indie developers used to work for larger studios, like many years of experience, and they decide to, be independent. For indie, they might, join a larger team again. Then they would not go indie. So, and we do work with some independent developer, like Yafune-san here. He used to run for worldwide, Capcom game development. He's now independent, and we work with him. and he led the concept of a game called Soul Sacrifice, to be released on the PS Vita. So when it made sense for the team construction that the independent person, like John or Hune-san, to join force with other team and make a larger project. That's no problem. I can see that happening. But the most important thing for any game development is the chemistry of the people. So we always look for working like a team, core team, core creative, leadership that has worked, many titles and successfully, because game industries move so fast that it's not like film industry that the role is pretty much well understood and established, so that you can film directors can work with many people possibly. But the games are the languages and tools and process is very, very different by the team. So we have to make sure that when we join forces from different places, there's working chemistry there.
And one of the things that is very important to detect what are the great creators in every moment is to have a keen eye for the talent. So as you have been so many years in the industry, I want to question you about how you detect talent. How is the key to see some person that has something to share?
Yeah, that's a trade secret. Well, yeah, that's a great question, because that's essentially, when you look at what we do, these managing studios, managing funds, that's essentially what we do, to look for talent and support talent. Because at the end of the day, it's the people who create, amazing things, and it's a team, core team, creative team that makes some breakthrough. And it's a hit-driven business, and we say that look at the our financial results of the titles. Probably 3 or 4 out of 10 make money, and maybe 1 or 2 makes almost all the money. So to cover the cost of the other titles. So so we have to be able to maintain that hit ratio at a certain level to be able to continue in the business. So we always try to find out and support and help grow the talent. That's the most important work that I believe, myself and some of my management team at our studios is doing. So there are lots of opportunities. There are so many projects that we want to do. Especially there are so many different tech or platform or device that we can release games, but we have finite resources and budget. We have to make selection choices, and one of the things we always come back to when we are looking at 5 potential projects, which is a team that we believe in when we start working with a new team. So that's really, really important.
And my next question is going to be about the actual, scenario that we have in industry, because in the past it was a matter of 2 or 3. It was like a struggle between Sega Saturn and PlayStation and Nintendo 64. And right now we have so many platforms, and we have an spectacular rise of PC that in the last studies have become the leader maybe of the market. So my question is how consoles and especially PlayStation are going to strike back.
Yeah, like listening to the panel like this morning, it's amazing. I feel like everybody should make games on iOS first. But like there's a Q&A that it really depends on one of the panelists said that who you want to be and what kind of games you are making. And the growth of mobile is amazing. However, consoles still have lots of passionate game players and waiting for games to play. So and we're talking about millions of people who are who spend lots of time playing games and active in talking about their experiences. So you really have to think about what is your game and what kind of people would enjoy your game. And when you see that it's a console type of game that you are thinking, the PC and console would be a really logical good choice. And we try hard to make our platform more accessible for as many independent developers. We do realize there are certain barriers these teams with limited resources have to cross. So we are always engaging with these indie teams that we work with, how to improve our process or our platform or our tools, so that they have smooth experience to bring their games to PlayStation.
And do you think that this maybe is going to be the last generation of consoles with physical hardware, because you also are thinking on going on the cloud, and this could change almost everything that we know from the last 2 decades?
Well, there's always talk about the end of something, right? And it's so funny, the analyst reports every year. When you look at the last year's reports and the year before, every year the predictions totally changes. So we enjoy looking at these changes because these companies look at what happened last year and kind of change their trajectories. Yeah, so it's a way to see the feedback to what we do. So I enjoy these changes. So luckily, they are good prospect that these analysts now talking about console. Maybe not as fast growth as mobile, but pretty healthy market that they predict. And in terms of this last console, we were told maybe 2 years ago that the console was dead. And looking at the sales of PS4 and Xbox One, it doesn't seem like it. Because consoles has always been advantage, or what we always try to achieve with consoles is it's a homogeneous platform. So from developer standpoint, it's the same experience or same hardware for everyone who owns the console, so that they can spend time in really fine tuning the experience, or the tech people can go deeper into the metal to get more performance out of the hardware. And from consumer standpoint, it's like a plug and play. It's very easy to don't have to worry about the compatibility or updates or now with PS4 we have much better updating system. So that ease of use will continue to be the strength of console. And as long as tech continue to advance, or new tech like VR or whatnot, become available for game developers to use to create new experiences, I believe there will be a need for new device in the future.
And talking with book publishers, also with museums, and with artists of many fields, they are talking right now about transmedia. Book publishers says maybe as all the cultural industry, except videos, are falling, we have to think of joining force. And you think maybe in this moment that video games are being recognized as an art more than ever, should lead this new way to present, entertainment and to people that merge many arts in this crazy world that is transmedia.
So looking at the number of inquiries, we get from film companies each day for potential license of our games to make into a movie. Yes, there are more, interest from film industry to come to us. So it's great they recognize the talent that we have in the game industry and the art that we create. And lots of people, who make games came from the film industry as well. So perhaps it's coming closer in terms of, game industry learns, sucks in any big form of media or technique from other fields. So, but in the end, what makes great games is different fundamentally from what makes a great movie, for example. So I have, it may not be a most politically correct thing for me to say, but being a Sony, person, I have never been a fan of making games based on movie or vice versa. I'd rather, be skeptical about, movie being made based on our games because those companies spend lots of marketing dollar, behind those movies. And if the game might be awesome, but if the movie is not, what it would do to, our franchise. So, because, some people ask, why, we are not doing like games on Spider-Man, and that's doing, I'm like, oh, that's great, they make great games. That said, because now Kaz Hirai is president of Sony, and he's bringing, different parts of Sony much closer these days. So we have more contact with Sony Pictures or Sony Music or Sony Mobile and other parts of Sony, and we have several initiatives. Some of our properties are being actively made into movies, like movie based on Gran Turismo's Gran Turismo Academy, or the Uncharted movie made based on Uncharted, and also the full CG movie based on Ratchet and Clank is being made, and will launch next year. And we are lucky to have Insomniac, the original creator of Ratchet and Clank, to remake the game, the first Ratchet and Clank that movie is based on, into a new game to launch with the movie. So these are some new initiatives, we are working on with other parts of Sony, and we'll see how it does.
And what do you think that, right now the MoMA and also the Smithsonian are recognizing and having their museums by the video games as an art, and why the sensation, the general feeling is that it's almost recognized as art? why it has taken so long?
I don't know, like Tim said yesterday, we always, knew that we are making, well, artistic product. We hire lots of, people who in the position of artists. We have lots of people who have art major. So even before you talk about interactive art, there are lots of creative people, making games. And so I just don't understand the point of audience. Like Tim was saying, it's just a semantic, right? People define art in a different way. And some companies like Nintendo always say that we are making some product that people enjoy, not necessarily calling it an art. Or some other people like Jason Rubin, my old friend who made Crash Bandicoot, he used to say that when you make a great game, people call it an art. So yeah, it never bothered me, or it never comes to my mind that question.
And the next question is a bit out of the blue, but I think it's interesting because we are always talking about the industry, the product, the artistic approach. But I want to ask you a personal question as a gamer. Could you tell me what was your first great experience in video games? Do you remember it in the childhood? Or?
Yeah, in terms of the first game I played, I think it was in the arcade. Something like, it was not Pong, or more like Breakout. There are many different variations of these arcade and Space Invader or Pac-Man or these days. Arcade was very popular in Japan, and early PC was not as much, so the arcade was the first. Not as I had a chance to play games, but the first consumer game I was really into was the Dragon Quest 3 on Nintendo NES. I was amazed how I was sucked into the story, of that game, and spent hours and hours trying to find some hidden island. So I called my friends, how can we play? Yeah, so that was the so early days, I was a big fan of RPG. I played all major games from Enix and Square. But in general, my favorite genre the game is to play this action and action platform.
Okay, so my final question for the questions of the audience will be, here we have a big crowd of young developers, many indie creators, and if you have to give them a quick advice of how, to sell a game and to sell an idea, to get to the point to get finance, what will be that?
So as a publisher, we always look for some proof of concept. It's one thing that you have great idea, but it's another thing that you can realize that. So even some simple prototypes, there are many tools that you can use. So it's rare these days that people, when we approach us or approach our producer, it's rare these people do not have something that they can show that that's playable. Make something, and prove your concept. That's the best way to sell your project.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yoshida. And now we are open for questions.